Trudy Armin's still on the mend. We're hopefully going to get him back next week. So another day of me and Chad holding it down, or Chad and I should say, holding it down here. We got a lot of good stuff to get through. Coming up at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, Gary Sheffield Jr. will join us as we break down so far the Major League Baseball season through 43, 44 games. We'll break that down coming up at the top of the hour to kick off hour number 2. But in the meantime, a lot of good stuff to get through. Phone lines, though, are always open to you. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And you can get in on the show this morning. Got a lot of fun stuff to get to. A lot of college football talk to get to. Have some other good stuff to get to, some softball news, baseball news, SEC baseball tournament underway in Hoover, and the rain playing havoc with day 1. So the schedule for day 2 is all kinds of craziness. Alabama goes on to get a win yesterday over Georgia 5-3 in the single elimination portion of the bracket. Alabama had to battle a rain delay. They were delayed 35 minutes before the game actually even got underway, and then they went through another rain delay that lasted about 2 hours. Alabama able to come away a 5-3 victor yesterday, so that does push Alabama into the double elimination portion of the SEC baseball tournament. The Tide will now take on Arkansas today at some point. And I say at some point because Kentucky and Auburn were supposed to put the nightcap on the tournament last night, but because of every rain delay that they had to start and throughout the day, we did not get the Auburn-Kentucky game last night. So we're going to get that game today at 9:30 before we start the double elimination portion of the baseball tournament. So I'd love to sit here and tell you exactly what time Alabama is going to play, but I can't. I can tell you they're going to play sometime today. Just don't know exactly when they're going to play today. So you got Auburn and Kentucky at 9:30. Then you have Alabama and Arkansas. And then today at 4:30, they have Florida and Texas A&M slated. And then after that, you're going to get Tennessee and Vanderbilt at some point. Now, tomorrow morning, the winner of the Auburn-Kentucky game will play at 9:30 against 4th seed LSU. That I know. So there you go. That is your SEC baseball tournament, I guess you could say, recap in one. That's about as good as we could do there. But Alabama, again, they're victorious over Georgia yesterday, 5-3, and a big day for freshman Ben Hess. He came in after that long rain delay. He allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, struck out on Alabama's season-high 10 batters in 4 1/3 innings of relief. After the game, here is just a little bit of Coach Brad Bohannon.
Really proud of our club. Obviously, it was a do-or-die day for us, and really proud of the way they came out. You could tell that our kids were really excited today, and it came out hot. It was tough after the rain delay for both teams, and how about Ben Hess, sitting there for 2 hours, didn't even know if he was going to pitch today, and he comes out and punches out 7 of the first 8 guys. So really proud of our team, and excited that we get to stick around for a little while.
We'll get it right here. Questions for the players?
It's the players first. Ben, just talk about the decision or the moment when you realized you were going to pitch, and how did you get yourself ready during that?
Yeah, so actually 2 weeks ago we were playing Auburn, and it's kind of the same situation. Rain delay. I was coming in, and I treated it kind of like that. I get myself ready in the locker room, and it's a bit of an abbreviated catch play. So I kind of know that going into it, get myself ready in the locker room, and From there, it's pretty much just treating it as a start. So I got some experience earlier in the year doing that. So that's basically what I did.
Yeah, for both players, you guys got scheduled to play early this morning. What kind of steps did you take to get ready and bring the energy this morning at 9:30?
You really just, going to bed early, take some melatonin, and try and just get as much sleep as possible, and waking up and just getting a good breakfast and trying to just come out hot and kind of spark plug the team, and kind of came out hot, and that was able to give us the win. So.
Yeah, I mean, we treat it like any other game pretty much. Once you get to the field, it's kind of the same, no matter if it's 8 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. It's all the same. It's just baseball pretty much.
This question's for Andrew. Andrew, how'd you feel you guys were able to get off to such a hot start today?
I just think we came out hot because we were just, really excited to play. We know we got to win to keep our season alive, and you can definitely see that in our bats and in the way we took the field. So it was definitely really good to start out hot and be able to stay for a little while.
Question for Andrew. What do you want to capture now that you got Arkansas again coming up? What do you want to capture from this past weekend heading into this matchup this week?
Really just taking it a pitch at a time. Every game we just treat it the same way, and just come out with good at-bats and good energy, and not trying to do too much, and the results will take care of itself.
Andrew, you just talking about that heads-up base running play it back in the first inning at third base, pop up to the third base side, and you had the presence of mind to tag up on that. Walk me through what was going through your mind in that moment.
Well, it was less than 2 outs, and anything in the air, I'm just tagging automatically, and I'm not looking at the play Coach Bo is, so he's telling me score, so I just took off, and it worked out.
For both of y'all, but I guess start with Andrew. What goes on in 2 hours and 7 minutes when you guys are just waiting to play? Like, what's going on in the locker room? Like, kind of take us through that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of snacks, a lot of just talking with the guys. I try not to, get on my phone at all. Just try and, chop it up with the boys and just have a good time.
All right, that was just a little bit of Alabama post-game after their win yesterday against Georgia in the SEC baseball tournament. Again, we don't know when Alabama's going to play Arkansas today. They're going to play at some point. Just can't tell you when. Auburn and Kentucky will play at 9:30. Texas A&M and Florida will play at 4:30. Vanderbilt, Tennessee will play at some point today. And the winner of Auburn and Kentucky gets LSU tomorrow at 9:30. Again, 97.7 ESPN The Zone is your home for the SEC baseball tournament. Make sure you download the app today so you can hear all of the action from Hoover all day long, no matter when they play, whatever time they play. Whenever you want to tune in, feel free to listen to the SEC baseball tournament right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the fun this morning. And this is not sports related, but I saw this morning, and I have to talk about it because it caught my attention, because you can get it tomorrow for free, by the way. Chad, I don't know if you've seen this or not. Probably not. But Oreo and Ritz crackers are combining. Okay, they're owned by the same company, by the way. Oreo and Ritz are. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., you can get online if you visit Oreo.com/Ritz, starting at, I should say, 10 o'clock. No, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can get on there, and you can get a collaboration. And what it is they're combining Ritz and Oreos. It's simply named the Ritz times Oreo. The hybrid product will feature one Oreo cookie, one Ritz cracker, with a layer of peanut butter cream and Oreo cream sandwiched in between. So you get a Oreo on the bottom, a Ritz cracker on top, but then you get a combination of the peanut butter and the Oreo cream in the center.
Yeah, the inside seems okay, but I don't know about.
But you got to pay the
Ritz
shipping
cracker.
and handling. It's free. They'll send you a stack of it for free. But you got to pay the shipping and handling, $3.95.
It's not really free. at the end of the day, I don't think I could eat like a Ritz cracker and an Oreo at the same time. It just doesn't sound like that tastes good. Like
It's the salty and the sweet.
Yeah.
It would be perfect. I mean,
I don't know.
anyway,
I'm
I
not
saw
a big
that
like
this
graham
morning.
or like cracker and chocolate thing. I don't know. That just to me that just I don't know. Not a big fan of the Ritz on it. I would be okay if you just put another Oreo on top. You kept peanut butter on the other side. But I get it. They're trying to combo the thing for weirdos out there. So
Weirdos? No, you don't have to be a weirdo. I'm just saying that I would eat that. I mean, I would go for it because it solves the salty and the sweet. But I saw that this morning and I was like, oh my goodness.
I mean,
For free, you can
I'd
get it
try it,
tomorrow
but
for free. It's a limited edition collaboration. It's available only online at Oreo.com/Ritz. You can get it tomorrow, $3.95 for the shipping. They only created 1,000 packs. So it's not like there's a ton of them. There's only 1,000 packs available. So, I don't know. I just saw that.
maybe they're just trying to test it out, see if people like it enough to where they can actually make it.
People are going to buy it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So anyway, let's get into some college football talk. The crystal ball. Coaches who might rise and fall into new jobs in 2022. It's a great thing on The Athletic, and it's worth delving into because these aren't coaches that are necessarily on the hot seat when you're talking college football in 2022. These are coaches that could rise and could fall. These are coaches that could have great success at their schools and be on the move, or they could, I guess you could say, bottom out and be gone. I guess you could say maybe they don't know if they're on the hot seat now, but if they have a disastrous 22 season, then they could be on the move. If you're looking at the SEC, they point out a couple coaches in the SEC. Actually, they point out 4 coaches in the SEC. One of them they put in here, I don't know. I don't know why they continue to do this. I guess because if Alabama wins it all, they did put Nick Saban, and they did include Nick Saban in this article. And it says that the 70-year-old Nick Saban has shown no signs of slowing down or any interest in doing much of anything besides football. They write in the article that could the era of player empowerment, roster turnover be enough to wear on him? They say that it has happened in the basketball counterparts. Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, among others. They put Nick Saban in this article, and I kind of have to eye roll at it because I don't see 2022 being the last year for Nick Saban. I know you have to include it, but I don't see that one possible. Even if Alabama wins it all, I don't feel like this is it for Nick Saban. I still feel like he has a lot left to offer.
Yeah, I feel like when people say that, when he adapted, changing how his team is and everything like that to kind of how teams are today, I think he's been doing that the whole time. I just think when he made the comments that he made at the World Games event, I think he knew what he was doing the entire time. I don't think he's losing it. I don't think he's lacking it in it. This guy he's obviously heavily devoted in everything he does between the players and the university.
The question is, though, is it weighing on him enough that he would be like Mike Krzyzewski or a Roy Williams and say, or a Jay Wright out of Villanova and say, I've had enough, I'm done.
It wouldn't surprise me for all if Jay Wright is going to be the 76ers head coach at some point, if they give him enough money. And I think that if you look at the way that,
but that's not college. I mean, that's not college. I mean, he's leaving college.
I get it.
But is that enough? I mean, is the name, image, and likeness is because if Nick Saban could just coach football forever and not have to worry about anything, going to be fine. Most coaches would be fine. But if Nick Saban wins another one, would he join the counterparts of Mike? So they include Alabama in this one. They also include Mark Stoops. They include Mark Stoops in this conversation. They say Mark Stoops has done a fantastic job at Kentucky, 59-53, 2 10-win seasons in Lexington in 10 years, the last 4 of which have ended with bowl wins. He'll be 55 in the fall, will Mark Stoops. That's relatively young when you're thinking of college football coaches, 55. Now, the only job that I could see Mark Stoops leaving for would be if the Iowa job would open up and maybe he would step in there and replace Kurt Ferentz. But Kurt Ferentz ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, that guy will stay there until he is forced out or something. But Mark Stoops, I don't see Mark Stoops leaving anywhere. Florida State flirted with Mark Stoops. They wanted Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops turned them down. Would another school make a hard push to get Mark Stoops out of Kentucky? Is he a coach that you would want to turn your program around? Florida State wanted him. We'll see. Let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Johnny's on his cell this morning. Good morning, Johnny.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
All right, so Saban plays chess when everyone else plays checkers. We've always said that.
Yes.
And he was speaking to the room with deep pockets, and just like when he said, hey, do you guys really want this fastball offense? Is that what you want football to be? Well, what does he do? He morphs into that. He's speaking to the guys. He wants to step up to the plate and say, okay, these other guys are getting their teams bought. It's time for us to step up and get ready to do the same thing. And if you don't think Bama's going to, step up and start running NIL deals that are, no. Does he want the NIL process the way it is now? No. Does he want it does he want some curbs on it? Yes. And will he get them? Who knows? But I can tell you, whatever the game is at the time that they've got it, he'll be prepared to play it the next time it runs.
Yes.
And so,
but will it be enough to weigh on him and force him out of college football sooner than we think?
He pulled the number 2 class without NIL being the big end-all, be-all for Bama.
Right.
He likes keeping – look, does he like he's never had parity? I mean, he is the antithesis of parity because he outworks everybody. They have a Saban rule that was the bump rule. He has always outworked the people around him. He will continue to do that. He just didn't like the fact that he didn't get outworked, he got out money. And so now he's going to make sure that money's not a problem because when he works hard, he wants to be able to have the money to do what needs to be done. And that's what's going to happen. And 2 years from now when the NIL, whatever it is, you can bet one thing, Bama will be ahead of the curve. And just look at what he didn't want to – he said, do you really want a free agency in football? Well, no. He said, you don't think Alabama's going to get the better end of the transfer portal? Well, just look what he brought in. He brought in Gibbs. He brought in the kid from Louisville. He brought in Burton. He brought in Rick. He's going to get his. So it doesn't matter. He's just getting ready for the next round of when he's going to get his.
No, I agree. But I'm wondering if he just gets tired of having to always try to be ahead and just be like, I'm done. I've won these titles.
I don't see. Okay, so Saban likes climbing. I think he looks at he's the most adaptable coach in college football ever.
Right.
Whatever. He is the poster child of adaptability. And when the time comes, he needs to adapt now to NIL. He will adapt and be the king of the hill again. So I think he loves the challenge. I think he relishes. And if you don't think he's got something cooked for Jimbo when he brings this little sorry ragtag bunch from Cottonville up to here, he's going to beat them like a rented mule. I would not be surprised to see I wouldn't see the starter still throwing touchdowns if the score is 50-0. And that defense is going to kill our quarterback that Texas A&M drags out. If it's Max Johnson, he better hope he has a disability insurance set up because I can guarantee you there'll be 3 guys with his big target zeroed in on his chest. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Nobody does revenge like Saban.
No, there's already great anticipation for that October game. Plenty.
Lusty anticipation of what's going to happen to those boys.
There is. But thanks for the call. No, I agree. I mean, if you're going back to the NS, I agree with everything that he said. But what I'm saying, well, my thing is, does this, when you try climbing the mountain, you climb it and you climb it and you climb it and you climb it and you enjoy it. But at some point, you get tired of climbing the mountain all the time. And you just want to stop. And I think that's why the Athletic put Alabama in this conversation, is because they're asking the question, will Nick Saban just get tired of climbing this mountain to try to be the best all the time? Will it just be like, you know what, I've done it. I just want to stop. I'm done. I think that's why they included Alabama in this article. Because the other coaches I can see, Mark Stoops, I can see maybe he says, I want to try somewhere else eventually if it's the right job. So I don't think it's about money for Mark Stoops, because if it was about money, he would have taken that Florida State job, because he could have gotten a lot of money out of the Noles to leave Lexington to go to Tallahassee. The other coach in this article that they put from the SEC is Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. Now, Drew has said on this show numerous times that Lane Kiffin wanted out of Oxford really, really bad this past offseason. The Rebels have stepped up. They're paying him over $7 million a year at Ole Miss. Could Lane Kiffin rise and take another job if it's offered this fall? Or do you see Lane Kiffin coaching the Rebels? If I said, Chad, you see Lane Kiffin coaching blank years at Ole Miss, what number would you fill into that gap?
I don't know. So it's kind of a rebuilding year for him. He does have a lot of talent on offense still. Probably like another 2 years. And I say this because like you look at it on the other side with on the same team in the same state with Mike Leach. I mean, what does it take for him to get fired, in year 3 or year 4? I'd say like 1 or 2 years at least for Lane.
So you think Lane stays 2 more years?
2 more years, and then finds another job.
2 years.
Because I don't think he's going to leave after this year. And I think he'll probably keep 1 more year. Something will open up, and he'll probably end up taking it.
All right, the other coach on this list we'll get to when we get back from break. Time for our first break here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Coaches that could rise and fall throughout college football. We're in the SEC to start. We got one more coach to go through, and we'll fill you in when we return from our first break this morning. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning. Still not much to the ride. We're dealing with a heavy traffic load, but we don't have any wrecks or stalls or traffic signal problems to deal with. You be careful on that trip in. Put some extra room in there so you got somewhere to go if something goes wrong. No hose, no mask. You could ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The Atlanta Braves are back on the field, and this reloaded roster is fired up to defend their crown and run it back in 2022.
Pitch on the way to Ozzie. Get it out towards right field. This is back there towards the wall. Sailing back, and this one is out of the ballpark.
Tonight, the division battles roll on in Atlanta as Matt Olson and the Braves take on Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies live from Truist Park. Braves radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
It's beginning to feel a lot like summer, and the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to get it started this Memorial Day. Step up your grill game with propane griddles from Next Grill for the perfect smash burger. Then feast with your friends and family around a new patio set from Hampton Bay. However you plan to kick off summer, the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to do it right. Feels like Memorial Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Dealing with a heavy traffic load, but there's good news in it this morning. No wrecks, no stalls, no traffic signal problems to deal with. You be careful on your trip in. Put extra room in there so you have somewhere to go if something does go wrong around you. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson with you. Drew DeArmond still again on the mend. We'll get him back hopefully next week. As a reminder, though, just a heads up, there will be no show for us on Friday. on Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to be enjoying a little bit of a break here on Talking Ball. No show for you Friday or Monday and Tuesday of next week. We'll be back at it next Wednesday for a live show here on Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So going to get a chance to get away for a little bit. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We've been kind of going over this Athletic article about coaches that could rise and fall in 2022. Now, they included Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, Mark Stoops. The last coach in the SEC that they put in there, I don't know how close it actually came to not being the coach at Auburn. It felt like some tense moments, but they put Brian Harsin in this conversation as coaches that if you were looking into your casual crystal ball, that could be on the rise or could be on the fall this coming year. And they put in here because the status of Alan Green is a huge question mark. Alan Green's contract is up at the end of the year as far as the athletic director position goes at Auburn. They have a new president. His contract, Alan Green's contract, has not been extended. We don't know the fate of Alan Green. So Alan Green and Brian Harsin are tied together. Now, he did survive a tumultuous first year on the Plains, did Brian Harsin. Does he have anyone left in his corner? You have to ask the question, who is in Brian Harsin's corner coming into the fall? Now, I don't know if you saw this a few days ago, but Auburn football trustee Jimmy Rain was interviewed by the Montgomery Advertiser. And Rain told the Montgomery Advertiser, and I quote, "Trustees don't hire and fire football coaches." That was according to Jimmy Rain. Trustees don't hire and fire football coaches. We hire and fire presidents, so I'm not aware of any role the trustees played in that at all. That was going back to the Brian Harsin saga this summer. He said, and I quote, "I think there were questions that the administration had, and former Auburn president Jay Googe is the kind of president that wants facts. He's going to do thorough investigations, and so that was a providence of the administration, certainly not the trustees. I don't know how to help people with their perception. All I know is facts, and there's enough rumor out there that people can make up anything they want to make up, but facts speaks for themselves, and that's just how things are done." That was from Jimmy Rain. Again, trustees don't hire and fire football coaches.
I don't know what to honestly say about that, because I mean it wouldn't have came down if that wasn't the truth. It would came down to the fact where he's constantly going after Harsin, social media wise, digging into his past, digging into the rest of everything else that's going around Harsin. Like, nobody does that unless you're trying to get rid of somebody, unless you have money, because nobody's gonna waste their money and their time on something like that unless you're butt-loaded rich and you're the one that's literally pouring money into the university. Are you going to?
Jay Googe did the investigation. Okay, Jay Googe, the president, did the investigation. I get that, but to tell me that trustees don't hire and fire football coaches,
that's a load of crap.
Come on.
I mean, who do you? I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like, at the end of the day, who do you think that you have to? Who do you have to like sway? I mean, like, sway, or who do you have to like woo? I mean, you literally have to.
The
to woo
trustees
them.
have a lot of say in that. I mean,
100%.
All right, so they put Brian Harsin in here. They say he lost the last final 5 of 2021. They finished 6-7. But this being Auburn, expect success when it's least apparent. And that's, Auburn fans will tell you that all the time. If there is high expectations for an Auburn team, more than not, the Auburn team kind of does not live up to those expectations. But when you have a team that you don't expect a ton of, that's when they come through and they blow you away with the expectations. But they also say, keep in mind that this is an Auburn program that has not posted consecutive seasons of 10 or more wins since 1988 and 89. But to our point of when expectations are not high, this Auburn team delivers. They've managed to win a national title, play for another one, and post 2 more undefeated seasons during that span. So this Auburn Tiger team, when the expectations are not there, deliver. Is that enough to deliver a satisfactory feeling around the Auburn program for Brian Harsin? But does Brian Harsin parlay that success into a Pac-12 job this offseason if one comes open? I think that's why you include Brian Harsin in that conversation. Not because Brian Harsin gets fired, but he leaves after this year for, let's say, maybe a Washington. Oh, no, Washington was open. He didn't take that one. Maybe a UCLA job. Let's say Chip Kelly completely tanks it this year. By the way, UCLA is a program that you would think by now, I mean, when Chip Kelly was at Oregon, my goodness, you talked about the Ducks, the flashiness, you talked about everything. Chip Kelly has UCLA in the most boring conversation when it comes to a college football team. But Chip Kelly bottoms out. Brian Harsin wins maybe 9-10 games at Auburn this year. Does Brian Harsin take a UCLA job, parlay the 10 wins, and adios, and he's back to the West Coast? So that's why I think they put Brian Harsin in this, because a lot of it, too, is the athletic director instability. If his job does not get renewed, if Alan Green's contract does not get renewed, Brian Harsin's tenure at Auburn, I mean, goodness, that could be tough. The Big Ten. When it comes to the Big Ten, they put Michigan's Jim Harbaugh in the conversation. They say he's had to rebuild his coaching staff. Sounds like he has realized the NFL coaching career probably not going to happen. But again, they put maybe in there. Minnesota, P.J. Fleck. He's a $10 million buyout if he were to leave before December 31st. Could P.J. Fleck be on the rise or on the exit this coming year? Scott Frost, we know about the Scott Frost situation in Nebraska. I mean, you want to talk about a coach that is, there is no bones about it. He is completely on the hot seat. I mean, that seat around Scott Frost is really, really hot. His buyout, Frost does, drops to $7.5 million on October 1st. He added offensive coordinator Mark Whipple from Pittsburgh. He's got a passing game coordinator in Mickey Joseph from LSU. And then Frost was hit by the NCAA, remember this, with a one-year show cause. It's more optics, but anyway. Scott Frost there. Purdue, Jeff Brom. You got Big 12. No surprise there in the Big 12. Matt Campbell. There's great feeling that Matt Campbell would have been the head coach at USC if Oklahoma had not hung on to beat Oklahoma State in the 2021 regular season finale. If Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, there was feeling that Lincoln Riley does not leave Oklahoma and that Matt Campbell leaves Iowa State to take over the USC job. Matt Campbell, his name is going to get referenced for everything because of what he has done at Iowa State. Neil Brown, At West Virginia, they throw his name in there.
What about Drew's favorite head coach in the Pac-12? David Shaw.
Well, we haven't got to the Pac-12 yet. I'm in the Big 12. I'm in the Big 12.
I apologize.
They got JT Daniels there now, West Virginia. So all is saved now. The greatest quarterback to ever not win the Heisman, JT Daniels, greatest quarterback that was going to lead Georgia to the national title, is now on his third school of West Virginia. Is JT Daniels the one that is going to save West Virginia and Neil Brown from his exit? Pac-12, Arizona State, Herm Edwards. I don't think there's been a program that's had a worse offseason than Arizona State. Everything that they have gone through. I just still don't know how Herm Edwards has kept his job
because it's Arizona State. They can't find anybody else. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of players like to go play for Herm Edwards. I think people like Herm Edwards because of the coach that he is, rather than I get it. He's not a winning coach, but I don't think you're going to win a whole lot of ball games at Arizona State.
Well, there's a lot of feeling that he's going to retire at the end of the year. So that would be a coach that's on the move.
Before you said that, what are your thoughts on, because we were talking about Big 12 just a second ago before I jumped to Pac-12, what about Steve Sarkisian if he has another dud year at Texas? Do they get rid of him after 2 years or maybe 3 years? I mean, is the Alabama game the deciding factor how well Texas plays in that game? I mean,
no, because I don't think Texas – I think Texas fans want to compete against Alabama, but I think the Texas fan that is smart, that knows college football, understands that this Texas program is not at the level yet of Alabama,
right,
where that they can get a win. Because remember, we talked Texas last week because we talked about the Ajay Hall situation, which, by the way, right, I believe he is enrolled in classes now, and so he is part of the Texas program. But the smart Texas fan knows that they're not there yet to compete with Alabama. They just can't get blown out. And then they've got to go into the Big 12. Then they got to go into the Big 12 and have at least a winning record in the Big 12. You cannot have a losing record in the Big 12 if you're Steve Sarkisian. Now, he has gone out through the transfer portal, has Sarkisian, and has added some pieces. If he wins 8 games this year, then it's going to be trending in the right direction. But Texas is one of those schools right now that likes to put themselves at the top of the college football world, and they have not been at the top of the college football world in quite some time.
They're going to start doing it once they hit the SEC and be able to, all that Texas money.
Well, they've got all the Texas money, and they can use it, and they have. Question is, you asked me if Steve Sarkisian has a bad year at Texas, I think he survives it. He can't have, and then next year, his third year, then he's done. Texas is not going to get rid of Steve Sarkisian, I believe, after 2 years, unless it's an Ed Orgeron situation where the bottom completely falls out. And I don't see that happening. If the bottom falls out like an Ed Orgeron situation, or a Gus Malzahn situation, or not a Gene Chizik situation at Auburn where it just completely, where the boat just springs too many leaks and you can't fix it, then yes, Steve Sarkisian would be out at Texas. But I don't see that happening this year. I think Texas has too much talent to let that happen. They just have to finish ball games. That was their problem last year. They just couldn't finish ball games. Texas had leads in a lot of their games last year down the stretch. They just could not finish ball games, whether it be depth, whether it be lack of talent. They just couldn't finish ball games. If they're able to finish this year, if Jaleel Billingsley is the talent that he's supposed to be,
if Ajay Hall enrolls at Texas and is supposed to be that same talent.
I think he has.
I know. When I typed it in, tried to find it earlier, it still just said, since May 17th, still says plans to enroll before June. So I hope he has.
He's just got a couple of days. All right, 7:46. Let's get a break in. When we come back and wrap up hour one, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
Here goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
The internet is everything. Actually, everything. And with WoW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WoW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at Wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F1.
We interrupt this message to announce our $1,000 appreciation cash reward. Attention all active military, reservists, retirees, and all veterans, plus first responders, police, fire department, EMTs, and medical professionals. In appreciation for making Huntsville the great city it is, you'll receive a $1,000 exclusive reward in addition to any public offers on most all 22 Fords. So please come see us today.
Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of Jordan and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
We've gotten a couple of reports of trees down this morning. Be very careful, especially on those secondary roadways. It sounds like everything's clear, but that could be a problem for some of you. We are working accident-free now. No stalls or traffic signal headaches. You be careful on the ride in. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists can help keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
When When we say local, we mean local, not Birmingham.
Loser.
We are the only sports talk station in Huntsville. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got a magical glow.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson with you on a Wednesday morning. Drew DeArmond on the mend. He'll be back with us hopefully next week as we enjoy our holiday weekend. So really just one more show for us here for Talking Ball. I think we're the only ones doing shows because everybody else is riding the coattails of the SEC baseball tournament and packing it in for the week.
Yeah, I think depending on what happens Friday, if you're not here, we may do a 1 hour little, in between or something like that.
I'm not
Tom's
here
show,
on Friday.
No, during Tom's show. You won't be here. Yeah,
I'm telling you already. If you're planning on getting here when you get here, don't, because I won't be here.
I'll probably get here anyway because I'll just wake up just to show up and just be here physically.
I have to make the drive to Iowa for the first time in 3 years. I have not been back home to my parents' house since pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And it's not like I have not seen them. I have seen them.
Yeah.
They've
been
come
here.
down here,
Yeah.
but I have not managed to go back home.
That's
I
good,
think it was the year. It may be 4 years since I have been back to my parents'
the same
house.
amount of years I've been to the gym because of COVID.
And it's showing.
It is showing.
I'm just kidding.
No,
But
since
anyway,
I've been
I'm
to the
just
gym,
saying,
not
I have
at
not
the
been
gym.
back home, so I'm gearing up for a 10-hour. We're gonna split it up. We're gonna drive halfway on Thursday, and then gonna stay in St. Louis, and then I'm going to make the rest of that drive on Friday morning. I have got to get my niece is graduating high school, and so I have been I've got to cook some food. Believe it or not, I got to drive the 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then I've got to cook some food when I get there on Friday because the graduation party or open house or whatever you want to call it is Saturday. Sunday is the actual graduation, so they're flip-flopping it. So they're having the party on Saturday, the graduation on Sunday, and then we're staying an extra day and then driving back on Tuesday. So I have not been back to the Midwest. I have not been back to Big Ten country in almost 4 years.
Yeah, I haven't. The last time I drove 10 hours was like 10 years ago when I went to Chicago, and we split the drive. Me and my friend split the drive the first way. But, man, that day, the second day when we were leaving, I was like, after all the fun we had and all this stuff, I was like, dude, we're going home. And he's like, you want me to drive? I was like, no. And I did the full 10 hours. I think I stopped.
10 hours? It took you 10 hours?
Yeah, because we took our time, too.
Okay,
we went all the way down 65. But the thing is, I only stopped twice, too. And when we got to, I think it's like we got to Louisville and stopped, and then, right outside Louisville and stopped, and then we stopped in Pulaski. And then once we got through Pulaski, it was like, he's like, you want me to drive? I was like, dude, it's like 45 minutes. I was like, I'm fine. But no, I'm never going to do that again. I don't know if I could drive a full 10 hours again. That was 7 hours to Baton Rouge was pretty killer too. So
yeah, we drove from Chicago. The last time I went up to Chicago a couple years ago for the marathon, my son ran the Chicago Marathon, and we made the mistake of he ran the marathon, and then we had the 8-hour drive back home that next day or that day. We packed up the car and drove back home. I will never do that again because he ran 26. Well, he ran 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
And then we throw him in a car for 8 hours. The poor kid couldn't walk when he tried to get out of the car. I felt really bad.
Yeah.
Like we should have stayed that Sunday and let him just kind of stretch out and roll.
Fine.
Not put him in a car for 8 hours and make him drive back home. That was awful bad of me.
He's young. He can move around.
Yeah,
He's limber.
Yeah, well, he got
How's he
out-
doing, by the way? Everything going good?
Everything is going fine out in Oregon.
awesome.
He just needs to understand the time difference between
When he calls you
the
or something?
West Coast and the Central Time Zone. That phone rang last night like at 11 o'clock, and we were all like, half asleep at 11 o'clock. And he's like, oh, just to let you know, the sun's still shining here. And my wife was like, well, it's 11 o'clock, and we're in bed here. So he just needs to understand the difference between, and you would think by now, after being out there since September, that it would just dawn on him that it's a 2-hour difference, but sometimes he does not remember that and forgets that.
Man,
so, anyway.
I just, especially now, man, I don't know if I love it or I hate it yet. Just waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning and it just being bright.
Love it. Love it.
I hate
Love
the early afternoons and stuff or the early, afternoons where it gets dark really early. I absolutely hate that. But I'll say this, I do kind of enjoy the early mornings like that.
So coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to get some Major League Baseball talk. Gary Sheffield Jr. is going to join the show because I thought, you know what? We've talked a lot about stuff. We got a lot of other stuff we haven't even touched yet. We got college football recruiting news. Alabama picked up a big-time college football recruit yesterday, and it could have a lot of impact as far as Arch Manning. Alabama lands Eli Holstein, a 4-star quarterback from Louisiana yesterday. There are a lot of people now that say that takes Alabama out of the Arch Manning sweepstakes. Holstein announced his decision via Twitter. He's 6'4", 222 pounds, ranked number 54 overall, the number 8 quarterback in the 24/7 composite. He originally committed to Texas A&M in June, but backed off that pledge in March. He is headed to Alabama. They were considered to be one of the leaders now for Arch Manning. Do they get Arch Manning? Probably not, is what the experts say. We'll talk more about that, though, in hour number 2. But coming up to kick off hour number 2, Gary Sheffield Jr. going to join the show.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. Oh, thanks. I can read.
And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning?
Pretty much.
Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Hey, folks. This is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Sounds like we just got a wreck on 565. This one's reported eastbound near the Parkway. I'm not sure if it's the north or southbound ramp. They are reporting possible injuries there. Everything else has run pretty smooth this morning. We've had a couple of other wrecks reported, but they've all been off in parking lots. Popeye's $6 shrimp tackle box is back with 8 butterfly shrimp, a signature side, and a buttermilk biscuit. University and Jordan 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be a pretty common thing across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch as we head into the later part of the afternoon, early into the evening. Some gusty winds, heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of embedded small hail. Temperatures drop into the 60s as we head into the overnight. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Usyk versus Joshua 2 set for July 23rd. Usyk was an underdog for the first fight. He's now a minus 230 favorite for the heavyweight bout. Joshua looking to reclaim the Super WBA, IBF, WIO, and IBO belts. He lost to Usyk last year at plus 270. The Eastern Conference Finals all tied up. The Heat hosting Game 5 tonight as a 1.5-point underdog against the Celtics. 203.5 the set total. Charlie Morton starting Game 3 for the Braves tonight against the Phillies, countering with Ranger Suarez. Atlanta minus 135 at home. Philadelphia plus 125, 8.5 the total. Braves won Tuesday in a walk-off 6-5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And hour number 2 is underway here on Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I thought Gary Sheffield Jr. was going to join us at the top of the hour. I'm the one that reached out to him. We had him on last year to talk Major League Baseball. I reached out to him. He said yes. I put the time down. He said yes. The time that I put down was 8:25. So if you were thinking we were going to talk Major League Baseball right now, we got a little bit of time left before we actually talk to Gary Sheffield Jr., but we will talk to him here in a little bit as we talk Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves did get a win yesterday over the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get his thoughts on the Atlanta Braves. Where are they at after 43 games? The defending World Series champion, among others. We'll talk Major League Baseball with Gary Sheffield Jr. coming up here in about 25 minutes. But to close hour number 1, we were talking college football, especially recruiting. And Alabama did get that commitment yesterday from Eli Holstein, a 4-star quarterback from Zachary, Louisiana. And as we mentioned, that does, according to a lot of the recruiting gurus, including our very own Drew DeArmond, that probably takes Alabama out of the equation when it comes to landing Arch Manning. Alabama was considered to be one of the favorites to get Manning, but now that they get Holstein, that probably leaves Texas and Georgia as the favorite to land Arch Manning. Now, if you're keeping track at home, Alabama has signed a top 100 overall quarterback recruit in each of the past 3 classes. That includes Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young, who they got in 2020, Jalen Milroe in 2021, and Ty Simpson in 2022.
Is this QBU?
Well,
if they end up going to the NFL, and
but here's the thing, though: Bryce Young going to be the starter this year in 2020.
Yeah.
You got Jaden Milroe, Ty Simpson, and then next year you will have Eli Holstein in that conversation. One of those 3 quarterbacks presumably will not play for Alabama. In today's college football landscape, in today's college football world where you play me or I will leave because I have that opportunity and I want to play, I don't want to earn it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit behind somebody. I'm just saying that I have a feeling that one of those 3 quarterbacks in 3 years will not be playing for Alabama.
And there's another situation. What if Bryce Young stays for that third year?
He's not staying
because he can make more than his rookie contract. So
he's not staying.
But if he did, but I think one of them's definitely going to go. I think one stays and one goes. I don't know which one. I think I would lean more to Ty Simpson.
You can't put that on there because you don't know how they're going to perform. I'm just saying that in today's college football world, and it's something when you think about it, that one of those 3 quarterbacks will not be playing for Alabama. They will be transferring because of today's college football world. But the way they are.
I kind of I get it. A lot of people probably wanted Arch Manning. I kind of like this Eli Holstein kid. I mean, this is what he said back in March. They won a lot of national championships, put guys in the league recently, especially at my position. The last 3 quarterbacks that they've had, that started for them are starting in the NFL right now. 2 of them are were top picks in the NFL draft. The other one was a second round. The guy they have now in his first year won a Heisman and probably going to be a top pick and number 1 pick next year. And I mean, you got to love a kid like that that's going to want to come in and really want to show his talents, at Alabama and knows that by going to Alabama, the great recruiting tool, by going to Alabama, this could happen to you. So, I mean, that's got to be a good thing. And what you said is being able to recruit highly, rated quarterbacks.
Right.
That's another great tool right there to use for future, quarterbacks coming to the program.
So, Aaron Suttles believes that Alabama's not completely out of the Arch Manning sweepstakes. But there's a lot of question, and a lot of people are asking the question, why would Alabama take a quarterback now? Why would you take a Eli Holstein and not wait for Arch Manning to make his decision? Well, that's why. You take one now before Arch Manning, because you don't want to be left out in the cold if you're not able to get one. But Alabama really did like him. They were fighting an uphill battle with Texas and Georgia. They are fighting an uphill battle for Texas and Georgia. But Holstein was former Texas A&M. He's not a consolation prize. Let's just put it that way. I mean, there was a lot of feeling out of Louisiana. And Mike Detillier could probably help us with this even better. I mean, because he's out of Louisiana. This kid can sling the ball. He fits in great with an Alabama system. Aaron Suttles says he's 6'4", 222 pounds. They have won with big quarterbacks from all different molds. Jake Coker was 6'5". Jalen Hurts was 6'2". Tua was 6'1". Mac Jones was 6'3". They list Bryce Young as 6 foot. I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that one. So frame-wise, they say he's a little bit like Jake Coker than Bryce Young, but his recent Elite 11 camp performance, he's more than athletic enough to do whatever is asked of him. So that's what kind of quarterback Alabama is presumably getting with Eli Holstein.
And I like it too because if you go look at the quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of the big dudes, a lot of the big guys are the ones winning championships. So the ones that are really taking their teams further in the playoffs are playing really well. And this guy kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Josh Allen. Josh Allen's like 6'5", 230. This guy's 6'4", 220. But if he gets to the NFL, he's going to bulk up easily. And he's able to run, he's able to move, he's able to throw. I mean, I kind of like the direction. Like you said, if you wait too long, he may not be there. What happens if like Arch goes to Texas or something, and then Eli says, well, I don't know, Georgia might be the place to go, or somewhere else, just somewhere else.
All right, so that's your college football recruiting news there. Alabama gets a 4-star quarterback. And if Drew was here, he'd be able to tell us way much more about this guy. It is a good deal that Alabama gets a quarterback. So ESPN, Bill Conley and them, they do that SP, the projections for the new year, and they base the projections on the rankings for your returning production, recent recruiting, and recent history. And they say these are the number, then they rank them. Kind of like a top, I guess you could say, 130 of college football. This is where you fall on the SP scale for the new year. So going into the new year, based on your offensive production returning, your defensive production returning, your projections of where do you rank as a college football team? Where do you come in at? And the number one team going into the new year According to ESPN, since February, it's changed a little bit, but the Ohio State Buckeyes come in at number 1, followed by Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Oklahoma. Those are the 5. Those are the top 5. Now, when they have the preseason college football rankings, something tells me that those 5 are going to look a little different. Georgia will be up there. Michigan, I would assume. Alabama, yes. Ohio State, yes. Oklahoma. I don't know if it'll be 1 through 5 in that order. But this is where it gets interesting, is 6 through 10. 6 is Clemson. 7 is Notre Dame. 8 is Texas A&M. 9 is Tennessee. And I'll say it again. If that is how the AP poll looks, if that is how in the middle of the season Tennessee is anywhere near Texas A&M, that means Tennessee 1 has continued to flourish under Josh Heupel. And there are going to be a lot of people that when Josh Heupel was hired at Tennessee, it was like, oh, I don't know about that one. A lot of head scratching going on. And then there was a lot of applause, because there were some applause for Josh Heupel. There was a lot of head scratching going on as well. But what Josh Heupel accomplished in year 1 opened a lot of people's eyes to maybe he is the right guy for Tennessee. But if Tennessee and Texas A&M are on the same plane, on the same parallel as each other, number 1, I don't think Tennessee can go and win 10 or 11 ball games this year. I don't think it can happen. So that means you're looking at an 8-4 Tennessee team or a 9-3 Tennessee team. And if we're saying a 8-4 and a 9-3 Tennessee is the same as an 8-4, 9-3 Texas A&M team, that's bad for Jimbo Fisher. So that's why I'm looking at this saying, that's interesting that you put Texas A&M at 8 and Tennessee at 9 throughout all the models. Now, they say the Tennessee offense could come in and be the 4th best offense in the country with a 41.4 S&P mark. If you figure in all the returners and everything and all the production, that the Tennessee offense can be really, really good. The defense, not so good, 43rd. They put the Texas A&M offense at 36 and their defense at number 6. So something is going to have to change there for Texas A&M. Now, the Texas A&M number took a hit offensively because Haynes King, remember, only played, one game in that Colorado State game, got hurt. Zach Calzada then goes the rest of the way for Texas A&M, and we all know the rest of the story. Zach Calzada beats Alabama. Zach Calzada transfers to Auburn, trying to battle to be the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. So that's why the Texas A&M number not so high there when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, because Haynes King is presumably the quarterback to lead Texas A&M to the next level. Jimbo Fisher has worked his magic supposedly with Haynes King, but we haven't seen a lot of Haynes King because he got hurt last year. Cincinnati, number 11. They put Mississippi State at number 15, way too high. They put Ole Miss at number 17, Kentucky at number 20, Auburn at number 22, Florida at number 23, Arkansas at number 26. They put Florida State at number 28 and Nebraska at number 29. They put Texas at 31. They put LSU at 36. By the way, in case you're keeping track, the worst college football team according to Auburn or ESPN's SP, New Mexico State is 131, UMass is 130, UConn is 129, UL Monroe is 128. Remember, Terry Bowden is at UL Monroe, I believe, number 128. Arkansas State, Butch Jones at 122. I'm working my way up. Vanderbilt is 115. South Alabama is 108. Then they put Troy at number 86 for John Summerall. Stanford at 77. There we go. Stanford at number 77, according to ESPN's SP, the newly updated SP. Number 77 for the most overpaid coach in college football. The most overpaid coach in college football. So there you go. I just thought those numbers were kind of interesting. I mean, you're going to see more and tons of preseason polls come out, and you're going to see all this, and it's all going to be these metrics and everything. They don't mean a thing.
It's like mock drafts.
Other than just to talk about it. That's all these college football polls mean. It just gives you something to talk about. But this one here I find interesting because it's not so much about polls. It's about they're taking your returning production on both the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, and they're putting it into the metric system, and they're trying to say, overall, this is how much, based on your recruiting, based on your offensive production returning, your defensive production returning, this is where we see you performing. And if Ohio State performs the way they're supposed to perform, they will be okay. So they have Ohio State is number 1. They have Alabama number 2, Georgia 3, Michigan 4. So that is what we have there. I just find that interesting. I mean, it doesn't mean a darn thing. Doesn't mean that's where you're going to perform. All right, Shane from Decatur with us this morning. Good morning, Shane.
Hey, good morning, fellas. So got a question for you about these preseason rankings.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a Gamecock. But after looking it up, I've seen that the Gamecocks were after the 2021 season, last year, obviously, but ESPN had them at 25. And then I also seen something else where they had us at 15. And I know that's way too high. It doesn't sound right.
This here has them at number 46. And it says because their offensive production right now in college football, when they plug in all these metrics and they go by the returning production numbers are based on rosters that have been updated, transfers, attrition, the combination of last year's ratings and the adjustments based on returning production. So that's where they go on this, and they base it on recent history. So they say offensively, South Carolina they're offensively ranked number 54 in college football. Then they have their defensive number at number 40, which gives them a 7. I don't know how they contribute all this, but it just makes them fall into the number 46 spot in college football.
Gotcha. Now, and another question on that, did they rank, I'm sure there is, they rank everything these days, but as far as transfer portal goes, do they rank these schools as far as how well they're doing with the transfer portal with in regards to who they brought in?
24/7 Sports actually has gone in and has done a transfer portal ranking for football. And let me see here if I can pull this up. 2022 transfer football team rankings. They have South Carolina. They have USC. My bad. They have the other USC. They have Southern Cal as number 1. Ole Miss is number 2. Alabama as number 5. South Carolina at number 8 with 9 commits.
Oh, that's not bad.
So, yeah. So they actually are ranking the transfer portal rankings. Yeah, the 24/7 Sports actually keeps track separate from the regular recruiting rankings, but they have the transfer portal rankings, and USC is number 1, Ole Miss 2, LSU and Brian Kelly is number 3, Oklahoma 4, Alabama 5, Nebraska 6, UCLA 7, and South Carolina 8.
That sounds about right. And, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I know we're not going to win 10 games this year, but I really do believe Shane Beamer is going to have those kids ready to play because, as you seen last year, man, like we were only supposed to win 3 or 4 games, and he had those kids playing, far and above, where they should have been. And I think this year we could possibly win 8 or 9 games. I'm going to go ahead and call that now. And I do believe we will play Tennessee a lot better and possibly beat them this year, because I think we have them in South Carolina this year.
Well, the big thing with South Carolina is, and I think the biggest deficit that they've faced before is a solid quarterback. Now, you're getting a quarterback in name in Spencer Rattler, who, albeit did not perform as well as the expectations were on him at Oklahoma, but I'll say this, he didn't lose a bunch of games at Oklahoma. The offensive numbers were not gaudy like we thought they would be, but he did manage to get get Oklahoma some wins. So what kind of quarterback are you going to get in Spencer Rattler? Are you going to get a productive, not turn the ball over type of Spencer Rattler, or is he going to live up to some expectations that were placed on him? Now, they could have been unfair expectations, but is he going to live up to those expectations that were placed on him when he was a Heisman hopeful before he took a meaningful starting snap at Oklahoma?
Right, yeah, that's the million-dollar question. And the only thing that makes me nervous about that situation is the fact that he's going to be facing SEC defenses, which we all know is a different animal compared to, Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12. And these guys on the other side of the ball are going to be so much faster, bigger, faster, stronger, period. And I'm just wondering if, obviously he's going to have to step his game up even compared to when he was playing well with Oklahoma. So that is kind of scary for me. So I'm very interested to see how well he's going to, stack up against these SEC defenses.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Shane, thanks for the call, bud.
All right, thanks, guys.
We got to get a break in because when we come back, Gary Sheffield Jr. going to join us from New York as we get ready to talk some Major League Baseball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Sounds like the wreck on 565 is going to be eastbound, right about the Holmes overpass, almost up to the Parkway. They are reporting possible injury in that one. Everything else looks pretty good this morning. Traffic heavy all across the valley. We've had a few tree down reports on some of the secondary roadways, but those have been taken care of quickly. Snelling has specialized in admin, accounting, and medical placement for more than 60 years. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It is 8:28 on a Wednesday morning. We were talking a little bit about it yesterday, or about that 43, but I guess you could say maybe a fourth. Maybe just a little bit there between the start of the baseball season. And really, we were talking about it. Do you really start taking it seriously until the All-Star break? But there's a lot of teams out there in Major League Baseball that can't afford to wait till the All-Star break. I mean, they got to be playing good now. But we kind of need to delve into the entire Major League Baseball season, find out how good the world champions are playing. Should there be concern? Who's kind of running away with things right now? I mean, just kind of putting everything into the pot right now and stirring it as far as the Major League Baseball season go. And he joined us last year to talk some Major League Baseball. We're going to bring him back in again this year. He's a baseball podcaster on Apple and New York News TV. You can hear him each Friday for Chef Talk at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. It is the one, the only Gary Sheffield Jr. joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Welcome back to the program, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. And yeah, everybody's freaking out about baseball, what's going on, different starts, the whole Tim Anderson thing. There's a lot going on in baseball, and I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, let's start here. We're an affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the World Series champions. They're 3 games below 500. They did this last year. Alex Anthopoulos comes to the trade deadline. I mean, we all know what he accomplished there. We all know what the Braves accomplished. If you are the Atlanta Braves right now, you're 3 games below 500. Are you concerned? Should you be concerned? The Mets are playing better. How should you feel?
I'm feeling decent. I mean, if you know that the Braves can play this way and really look like a 500 baseball team for the majority of the season, and the one team that's better than you in the division, because I've always said the Braves are still better than Philadelphia, even after all the moves that they made offensively, Philadelphia still can't pitch. And that's something that the Braves never had a problem with, especially down the stretch. But the team ahead of them, and I believe they're 8 games ahead, which is obviously a nice little margin there. The Mets are volatile. Everything's gone their way, come from behind wins. They, for the most part, stayed healthy. And now when you look at their roster, they've lost DeGrom. Scherzer is now out with an oblique for 2 months. And you're 1 or 2 bounces away. And I never tell anyone to root for injuries, but this is the reason that they play 162 games, is that we're like 45 games in, and things can bounce a different way. Acuna can get going. Olsen can get going. And all that can change in the drop of it in no time. So I try to tell everybody, don't freak out. If the Braves are 500, 50, 60, 70 games into the year, this is why they make it a marathon, and that's what makes baseball so beautiful.
Yeah, and then and you mentioned Matt Olson, you mentioned Ronald Acuna Jr. They have him back now in the lineup. Get him going. How difficult is that? I mean, to join in. I mean, coming from the injury that he had, he played just a little bit at AAA. Doesn't have much of a spring training with the club. How should the Braves, or I mean, what should be those expectations right now for Ronald Acuna Jr.?
Well, the way the Braves organization has to look at it is that other people have to chip in and do their jobs as well. It's not just a Ronald Acuna show, and the Braves weren't that last year. And people forget that is when he went down, it almost made the rest of the roster realize, oh, I have to do something. And suddenly you started getting production out of Dansby Swanson and production out of various locations in the roster that people frankly didn't expect at the beginning of last year. Well, that's how they ended up winning the World Series. So if you're looking at the Braves, I'm sure Acuna is looking at it from his perspective, thinking, well, if I show up, I'm going to come back and be the MVP. Well, when you're out with a torn ACL, there's a chance that your body is maybe not right, your timing's off, and it's going to take you maybe 20 to 30 games to get going, and that would not surprise me. If all of a sudden you see next month that Acuna hits 365 with 10 homers, that wouldn't shock you or I. So they really need to find other production and stop looking at Acuna and focusing on what he's doing, because the guy is just coming back, and people need to give him some time.
Let's move on from the Atlanta Braves. You mentioned the New York Mets. Or, Jed, you want –
let me just ask him one more before you move on. So this is a team last year that was hitting 78 home runs, leading the league literally a year ago. What is the change that you see in the two different years? I mean, is Freddie Freeman that big of a miss?
Well, it's the contact. The contact in general. People made it seem like Matt Olson was, well, he's better defensively and he still hits homers. And that's the way that analytics, the whole analytics department, always look at hitting, is that if a guy hits for power and batting average is decently similar, this guy potentially could be a better asset for us. And I believe they got Matt Olson at about $21 million a year. So they're looking at it and saying, well, we got a better bang for our buck. People forget that there's always a beauty to contact hitting and hitting for a high average. There's still a lot of certainty there in what you're going to get from Freddie Freeman month to month. And that was beneficial to the Braves. And people forgot that. They acted like, well, we got Matt Olson, so it's not as big of a deal. And Matt Olson, I still believe, is a great player, but you're going to miss Freddie Freeman. I think he's hitting like 325 right now for the Dodgers, and he just provided a balance and security. There was never a 3-week lull with Freddie Freeman. He always found a way to get it done when healthy. And yes, I'm assuming they're missing him, but it's going to be an adjustment. Just like the whole Acuna thing is going to be an adjustment, they're going to have to make an adjustment with Matt Olson in the lineup in replacement of Freddie Freeman. And I think a lot of people skipped over how smooth that would go.
So you look around in the rest of the majors, man, the New York Yankees, they were off to a great start. They've dropped a couple since then, but, man, the Yankees seem to have things on track right now. Speaking of a team that kind of retooled last year with a little bit of Anthony Rizzo and adding some guys, Yankees looking good.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. I'm actually freaking out right now because everything went our way. Very similar to how I told you about the Mets.
Yeah.
Everything went our way. And it's like Nestor Cortez Jr. looks like Sandy Koufax. Giancarlo Stanton is Mickey Mantle. And we got Lou Gehrig and Aaron Judge. We haven't paid Aaron Judge. Guy is still set to become a free agent. That price has probably gone up $85 million. Every single thing. Michael King was Eric Gagne out the bullpen, and now suddenly the last week or so, and I know we had a walk-off win last night, we're only 4 games up after everything that's gone correct. And now Stanton is down with, I believe they said it was a strained calf that could be a few weeks, and you never know how those go. And you already know how the Yankees have dealt with injuries for the past couple of years. We all of a sudden can go down like a sunken ship at any moment, and any win that we possibly can get, I'm rooting for, because it's difficult to maintain baseball, positive baseball, for 162 games. Seasons rarely ever just get off to a hot start and you go, well, they're the best team in the league. It's not often where you look at the end of the season and say, yeah, we're the best team all year. It just doesn't normally work that way. So I'm very conscious about what's happening with the Yankees and what they can do to sustain this while certain guys are out. So yeah, I'm losing it. The Rays are making it look dangerous. That lead, the Red Sox are red hot. Trevor Story all of a sudden looked like a dud, and the dude just turned Super Saiyan. I don't know who he is anymore. So yeah, the Yankees we're in a tough spot, even though I'm happy we're still at 4 games.
What does it say about the Tampa Bay Rays, though, that year after year, I mean, they are the one franchise that doesn't spend a ton, that they know how to draft, they know how to put guys there. They're 25-17, just as you mentioned, 4.5 games behind the Yankees. What does that say about the Tampa Bay Rays when they're able to do this year in and year out?
Well, I mean, it seems like a lot of times you walk into a room and everybody wants to be the smartest in the room. Everyone's always, they want to be told they're smart. And Yankees general manager Brian Cashman is like, hey, I want to be making the right moves, and we made this trade, we made that trade. And a lot of times when they choose not to spend, they're trying to flex their brain. And the one team who's consistently been able to do it is Tampa and Oakland over the years. And yeah, Oakland can throw out some stinker teams, but when you don't spend, they find ways to make impact with their analytics department. And that's something that I always told everyone I always rooted against, because when you have someone who's just in Tampa who's that much smarter than all these other organizations, they'll spend $35 to $40 million and get this huge bang for their buck and this huge return. And their team just somehow, some way, I can't name you half their roster. And they're just good. They're always good. It just, they find ways to pitch. They find ways to score. And I look at the lineup and guys are hitting 240. You don't know where they're scoring or how they're scoring. It seems like they get shut out every night. And then you turn around and they're 4 games back of the New York Yankees, who most of us have recognized as the best team in the American League so far. So if the Yankees have done everything's gone correct, and you turn around and $45 million Tampa Rays, who aren't even playing in Tampa, by the way, they're in St. Petersburg, Florida, and this team just turns around and they're just right on your tail. How does it not worry you?
Right. Gary Sheffield Jr. joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning, just talking some Major League Baseball as we get to that, I guess you could say, fourth of the way point of the season. And you look down the rest of it, the Los Angeles Angels, I mean, you want to talk about a team that has talent, but we talk about injuries. We've talked about injuries with the Mets and the Yankees, and we've talked about it with the Braves. If the Angels are able to stay healthy, which we have not seen them do in years, either Mike Trout goes down or somebody goes down, and then it just all falls apart for the Angels. They've been able to hold it together right now.
Yeah, that's the way the Angels were built, is that we're very top-heavy. We need Trout in the lineup. We need Ohtani not only to be in the lineup, but we need him to pitch. We need Rendon, who we're paying more than Mike Trout per year. We need him to stay healthy. And you see guys like Taylor Ward who have emerged. This is something that the Angels really haven't done, which was develop a guy. And I'm looking at it, and they're pitching a lot better than anyone expected. Some of their moves that they made this offseason have worked. And I'm happy for them. I'm genuinely happy for this team. And there's just no possible way that Houston is going to outrun them. And I'm not making this prediction. I'm just saying that it's almost like sad at this point that the Houston Astros can just lose Justin Verlander for the year a couple of years back with Tommy John. Garrett Cole can go to the big bad boy New York Yankees, and Carlos Correa and George Springer can go to Toronto, and they can lose all this talent, and they're still a better team than the Los Angeles Angels, at some point something's got to change. And I hope that the Angels can continue hitting because that team can rake, man. That team, if anyone's new into baseball, you're trying to grow into this game, figure out if it's entertaining, it's for you. You need to turn on an Angels game. They're simply as entertaining as it possibly can be. Guys are flipping bats, they're hitting homers, they score every night. It's one of the most entertaining shows in the big leagues.
Gary Sheffield, Chad Gwathney here with you. I'm a huge Trash Panda fan. I love going to the Trash Panda games. That's one game that you need to come out to, too. That's a great game to see. Speak on Reed Detmers a year later from being on that team to now throwing a no-hitter.
That's what's so beautiful about baseball is nobody predicted that this could happen. And I've heard about Reed in the minor leagues and what his fastball, how it played up, very similar to Nestor Cortez. I mean, not going to be throwing 100, 101 miles an hour, but that's the beauty in baseball is that you can figure out spin, you can figure out location, and this is a guy that the Angels need. They probably need one more, but you got to figure out how these guys can make an impact, and the Angels, for the most part, haven't found guys like this over the years, and if they can have Reed being a consistent guy over the course of the season, maybe find another on the trade market, and hey, the Angels will be a very dangerous team. Even if they don't win this division, this is not a team you want to play in the wild card. I try to tell everybody, the Mets and the Angels are the two teams you just do not want to see in the postseason, and especially as a higher seed. So I'm rooting for the Angels. I really am. I know I never like to tell anyone I'm a fan of another team or I'm rooting for some other type of interest, but it's hard not to root for the Angels. It really is.
Is there a team right now that when you look at Major League Baseball, and we talked about the Braves not panicking, being okay, is there a team, though, when you look at Major League Baseball and you say you need to panic because it is not going your way and you may want to hit the panic button just 43 games into the season?
I think there's an easy answer here, and I think that's the Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies have to be looking at the season thinking you're kidding. We just signed Nick Castellanos, and we signed whoever that lefty was. I mean, I think who's the dude from the Cubs, the guy.
Yeah.
They literally cannot stop being a 500 baseball team. It doesn't matter who comes and goes, who they fire from the staff, and I like the Phillies. I like them. They're another team that's like the Angels, but the way I try to tell people is that Phillies are built like the Angels were 2 years ago, where you look at them and say, well, why did we add another bat when we can't pitch? We signed 2 premier bats, and everyone just said, well, we'll figure it out. We'll outscore the opponent. They're like, you can't play any defense. They're like, well, so what? We'll figure it out. We'll put this guy in left. We'll put that guy in right. Now Bryce Harper has a torn UCL partially, which helps, I guess. And he's a full-time DH. That's a $330 million investment. A guy who can't even throw anymore. And it's like, I'm not here to say that Bryce Harper was not a great contract because he's been the real deal. But I don't know how many times Phillies fans can walk into a season and say, we're the worst pitching team in the history of baseball. That's what stats say. And we didn't add a single arm. And we took the worst pitcher off the New York Yankees and Nick Nelson and just threw him into the closer's role like something was going to happen. It's like, I don't know who's in that front office and who's making decisions, but if I saw all the money we spent this year and we're this mediocre, and I'm not saying I guess they're dead in the water, but they didn't make any changes at all that any real fan of the Phillies can look at and be like, yeah, there's hope for the future. So I'm definitely worried about that organization.
Gary Sheffield Jr. joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And I guess you could say on the flip side of that, I mean, while the Phillies may be a disappointing start, is there a team that's catching your eye and saying, man, this team could be pretty good? I knew they could be good, but I didn't think they'd be this good.
I'd say that's Milwaukee.
Okay.
And Christian Yelich is a little bit of an emergence. He was just flat out. He'll tell you, he was just not himself the past 2 years. Whether or not that was the juice baseballs at work, and whether or not he was not healthy, because, I mean, he did deal with a couple shoulder injuries. And getting some form of Christian Yelich back and, usual suspects in that starting rotation, they can pitch with just about any team in the league. You have Josh Hader. Josh Hader hasn't even given up a run in 15 appearances. He hasn't even been touched. So if you're looking at it as the Brewers know if we stay healthy, we're built for a short postseason series, and we're built for a 7-game series. We come into any series in the National League, we're probably looking at it and saying the Mets are the only team that can match up with us with our starting rotation. So if you're the Brewers, you have to look at it and say, let's just stay healthy, play solid baseball for the year. We're going to look up, and if everything goes perfect for the Mets, we'll run into them. And if we don't, we're outmatching everybody on the mound. So if I'm excited about any team as a fan base, you've got to be stoked about the Brewers. You have to be excited because I can't even say everything's going right for them, because if Christian Yelich really turns into that MVP Yelich, they're going to blow away the division. And that's where you start talking about higher seeds and setting themselves up in the postseason. So they're really excited.
Gary Sheffield Jr. with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Gary, let everybody know where they can hear your podcast at.
Yeah, you can just find us at YouTube at NYY News TV, or you can just look up Chef Talk. You can type in Gary Sheffield Jr. on any social media platform, and you should be able to find a link there somewhere. I'm usually dropping it anywhere so someone can pick that up. But, we have a lot of fun. We talk Yankees baseball, but we're also talking other baseball. We talked about, the whole Tim Anderson thing.
And we didn't even get into all that.
No, yeah, it was a mess. It was a joke. It really was, and I know I don't like to. It's difficult because all these situations are so nuanced. They're designed for shows like this and podcasts, but everyone seemed to make a judgment right on the fly, post game or via tweet. And I'm like, situations that are this delicate, there's not usually just let me listen to this 16-second soundbite and then throw out an opinion. It's like people don't really take the time, and I don't even know if they want to. So, yeah, it's kind of sad what happened with Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson.
All right. Thanks for joining us, man. We'll get you back. We got to get you back on towards the end of the year so we can see how these teams are progressing, especially the Atlanta Braves.
Hey, man, I appreciate it a lot. And, just shoot me a message, and I'd love to join.
Thanks. Gary Sheffield Jr. with us, Chad. That's some good baseball stuff. Good baseball conversation.
Great conversation. There. He does a great job, and he knows his facts. I mean, just to be able to talk, what's going on around the major leagues. Like I said, I agree with him. I think Braves fans, Braves country, everywhere, you just got to,
be patient.
Relax.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just be patient.
Let's get that final break in when we come back. Tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville, call 256-713-0575.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. Oh, thanks. I can read.
And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning?
Pretty much. Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock from Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse, new indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
We are winding things down quickly now. We got a lot of folks scrambling trying to get in on time, but we only have one accident. That one's eastbound on 565 just before the Parkway. May have had a minor injury in that one. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. It is Talking Ball. And we talked some Alabama softball yesterday, but after our show, more softball news from Alabama coming out. The good news, Montana Fouts, Allie Shipman, and Ashley Prang all announced via social media that they would be back for their senior seasons, but 6 players in all have entered the NCAA transfer portal in the past 2 days from Alabama softball. Megan Bloodworth puts her name in the transfer portal. Savannah Woodard puts her name in the transfer portal. Abby Dorr and Jenna Lord. We talked to Travis Ryer about those 2 going in to the transfer portal, but Lexi Kilfoyle also puts her name in the transfer portal for Alabama softball as well. Now, they could return, but most likely all of them will not return to Alabama. Montana Fouts yesterday emphatically making her announcement known that she was going to return to Alabama. In a post on Twitter, Montana Fouts said, "You'll see me proudly wearing the A next year. I don't have to think twice about that. Murph, not only are you a Hall of Fame coach, but you are a Hall of Fame man. I will die on that hill, so bury me in Dixie. Sweet Home Alabama, Roll Tide, and amen. That was from Montana Fouts yesterday on Twitter. So Montana Fouts, making no doubt about it, that she is returning for her senior season.
Do you dig deeper into what she says right there? Murph, not only are you a Hall of Fame coach, but you're a Hall of Fame man. Do you think that reason why they're transferring could be some stuff in the in the dugout?
Well, I'm sure. I am sure that on every team, I mean, there's.
I'm sure. There's button heads.
People, and so I don't have any doubts that there's some friction there. And, I mean, she wasn't the only one. I mean, all of the three that returned did kind of mention something about Alabama softball, but Montana Fouts was the most notable post there on social media. They all backed Coach. They all backed something within the program. So, obviously, I mean, you're going to have that at the end of the season. I mean, you're going to have that now.
Especially when you have one of, I guess, is this one of their worst seasons that they've ever had since
by
05?
Alabama standards.
Yeah, by Alabama.
Well, yeah, it is historically.
Yeah.
Because they did not make it to the Super Regional. This is the first team in Alabama since they started the Super Regional format. This is the first Alabama softball team to have not made it to a Super Regional. Anyway, that is your Alabama softball news for your tomorrow's headlines today. Again, coming up at 9:30, you're going to get the SEC baseball tournament. You're going to get Kentucky and Auburn in that first-round single elimination game. They will take the winner of that will play LSU tomorrow at 9:30. The Alabama game, the Alabama-Arkansas game, I can't give you a time on that. So what you're going to have to do is download the app. Just listen to the app all day. And when Alabama baseball comes on, that is when Alabama baseball is playing. So that is the best thing I can tell you as far as when Alabama baseball will play.
Spot on.
Tell you Auburn's going to start at 9:30. Just download the app and listen all day. And that's when Alabama baseball will start. Thanks to Gary Sheffield Jr. Thanks to all the callers. We'll be back at it tomorrow for our Thursday edition of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey.